Awesome. All right, grab your tennis ball. We still got work to do. Okay, if you've got your tennis ball, we're just going to start in a standing position, placing the ball right between your palms and just start to put a little pressure on, roll around the bottom of the hands. Nice, and then we're going to take the ball into the left hand and we're going to put the thumb and the index finger on the ball, give a little squeeze, soften up that squeeze and then switch. Middle finger and thumb, give a little squeeze, soften up that squeeze and switch. Ring finger and thumb, give a little squeeze and you might find you have less strength there. And then pinky finger and thumb, give a little squeeze and release. Nice, switch over to the other hand. Index finger and thumb, give a little squeeze, release and switch fingers. Middle finger and thumb, give a little squeeze, switch fingers. Ring finger and thumb, give a little squeeze. Notice the variation of strength that you'll find in your fingers, and then switch to the pinky finger and give a little squeeze. Nice, and then bring it back into your palms, circle around. Awesome, and now we're gonna take it into our shoulder mobility. So you're gonna take that tennis ball into your left hand with the palm facing up. You're gonna try and keep that ball without having to grip onto the ball. Keep it balanced in your palm. Keep the ball facing upward the whole time. So you're going to pass through and underneath. You're going to reach up and overhead, swing it all the way around. And the entire time you're keeping that tennis ball facing up towards the ceiling. So your whole body is going to spiral to help bring that ball around. Keep it up and overhead. If you need to hold on to it because it is going to roll around a little bit, but try to find that upward position of the ball the entire time. Nice. One more time through on this side. Awesome. And then switch over to the other hand. So palm facing up, we pass it through and underneath. Let your body swivel with you all the way up and overhead. And then we do it again. Pass it through and underneath. Hips move with you, shoulder moves with you, spine moves with you. Nice. Take 3 more times through on this side. If you're holding onto the ball, just make sure it's a loose enough position so you could feel that the ball is still facing upward towards the ceiling. Nice, last one through. Beautiful, and then just start that nice little hand pass, passing around your torso, just to bring a little fluid back into your shoulders. Awesome, one more time around in this direction, and then switch and go the other way. Beautiful. Now we're going to place that ball right between our ankles. So we're going to find a nice little squeezy place that you can hold onto it. Trap that ball between your ankles and then spread your toes as wide as you can. Let your toes soften onto the ground. Keeping that ball between your ankles to the best of your ability. We're going to lift the heels away from the floor. Does not matter how high you go, but we want to maintain that little squeeze of the ball between the ankles, and then lower your heels back down. Lift your toes, spread your toes nice and wide. Let your toes soften down to the ground, and then lift your heels up just as high as you can control. So you keep that ball between your ankles. Release your heels down, lift your toes up, spread your toes, release your toes, lift your heels up, and lower your heels down. Nice. And then let go of that ball, keep it on the ground, and we're going to take it right over to the left foot. So we're going to trap that ball underneath the ball of the foot, heel on the ground, and start a nice little swish side to side. Great, and then bring it to the middle of the foot, heel on the ground, and swish side to side. Awesome, and then bring the ball of the foot and the toes on the ground, trap the ball under your heel, put a little pressure on, and swish side to side. Nice, and then when you're ready, we're going to start that long roll, the bottom of the foot, but keep it soft. So most of your weight to start is going to be in your standing leg. Then you're just going to bend and hinge from the knee to find that softer roll to the bottom of the foot. Cool, and now we're going to take it up to the big toe. So we're going to place the big toe on the ball and try to get the rest of your toes to drop off. So your big toe is going to stay on the ball and you're going to push your other 4 toes down to the ground. And then lift up, move it over just a little bit. Try to keep the second toe, might be like the second and third toe, but we want to try to isolate just a little bit, and all the other toes are going to drop off. And then release, and now we're going to take it to maybe the third and fourth toe. It just is really going to depend on the flexibility and spacing of your feet. Press in just a little bit and release. Nice, take it over to that fourth and fifth toe. And release, and then see if you can just isolate that pinky toe one last time. Nice, and now we're going to take it into that deeper roll. So we're going to let our body weight move with as we lean into the ball a little bit and really smush into the bottom of the foot. So we're going to take it to the big toe line, second toe line, third toe line, fourth toe line, and pinky toe. You're going to work down the length of your foot and just let your body weight move with you a little bit. Nice, one more good long line of that foot, and then bring the foot into the middle of your ball of your foot. Soften over the foot first. Let the top of your foot soften, and then lean in. Put as much press on as you can stand. Keep inviting that softness into the top of your foot. Take a nice big breath. Awesome, and then lift off, move it up to the middle of your foot. Lean in. Soften the top of your foot, and then just lean in a little bit further to find that nice bit of pressure, the amount of pressure that's really going to work for you. Take a nice big breath. Beautiful, and then lift off, take it under the heel, and then here you might be able to put a considerable amount of your own body weight onto it, because the foot, and specifically the heel, has this really dense texture of fascia, connective tissue, so it can hold and absorb a lot of shock. So lean in with as much as you can stand, take one good breath. Awesome, and then lift off and just give that final last soft roll to the bottom of that foot. Cool, and then set that ball down for just a second. Place both feet on the ground, close your eyes, and just notice how your feet feel. Notice that little subtle differentiation between one foot and then the other. And then when you're ready, take it to the other foot with that soft roll. So most of your weight is in your standing leg, and we're just soft rolling the bottom of the foot. Great, give one more good soft roll to the bottom of the foot, and then we're going to take it up to the toes to see if you can keep your big toe on the ball and let the other four toes drop down. Lift off, move it on in, maybe the second toe and the third toe, just depending on how your toes like to go. And lift off, move it on down just a little bit. So maybe now we're getting the third toe and the fourth toe. Nice, and then move it on down. So maybe we find the fourth toe and the pinky toe. Awesome, and then see if you can just find that pinky toe, trying to isolate it just a little bit. Beautiful, lift off, and now we're going to take that deeper roll. So we're going to roll through the bottom of the foot and let your body weight move with you. Beautiful, and then bring it to the middle of your ball toe mound, soften the top of your foot, and then lean in with as much pressure as you can stand. And then once you've found it, soften again. Take a nice big breath. Awesome, lift up, find the middle of your foot, lean in, soften the top of the foot, and then deepen that lean in just a little bit. Nice, and then when you're ready, lift off, find the heel of your foot, put as much pressure on as you can stand, lean your body weight into it. Beautiful, and then lift off and give that final soft roll to the bottom of the foot. Awesome, and then when you're ready, set that foot down, and now with both feet evenly weighted on the ground, take a nice big breath, reach your arms up and overhead. As you exhale, bend your knees a little bit, hinge from your waist, fold down towards the ground. Soften the back of your body, soften the back of your neck, take a nice big breath. Beautiful. And then from here, we're going to find our way down into a tabletop position. So step your hands down to the ground, step your knees down to the ground, and then placing that ball underneath the right hand, putting a little pressure on. We're going to roll the length of the palm up towards the fingers. So think index finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky finger. Nice. And then we're going to take it into the split. So take it into the webby part of the thumb, place that ball there, lean in, put a little press. And release. Take it index finger, middle finger, do the splits. And release. Middle finger, ring finger, do the splits. And release. Ring finger, pinky finger, do the splits. And release. Awesome. And now we're going to switch over to the other hand. So we're going to work the length of the hand. Think palm to fingertips. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, take it to that webby part of the thumb, press in just a little bit. And release. Index finger, middle finger, do the splits. And release. Middle finger, ring finger, do the splits. And release. Ring finger, pinky finger, do the splits. And release. Nice. And then if you can, sit back on your heels or sit in any way that feels good. But now we're going to use our hands to do the work. So you're going to take your left hand, grab your right thumb. You're going to pull out just a little bit, pull all the way to the tip of the finger, and then release. Grab the index finger, pull, and release. Grab your middle finger, pull, and release. Grab your ring finger, pull, and release. And then to the pinky finger, pull, and release. Nice. And then take it over to the other hand. Grab your other thumb, pull, and release. Index finger, pull, and release. Middle finger, pull, and release. Ring finger, pull, and release. And last, pinky finger, pull, and release. Nice. And then just give your fingers a little wiggle. Cool. Now we're going to lean back forward and then place that ball so it's going to be under the right forearm. And then most of your weight's going to be back towards your heels, so you're not putting too much pressure on, but we're just going to run the length of the forearm. So think to the wrist and to the elbow. And for this point here, my palm is facing down. Beautiful. One more roll forward and back, and then we're going to flip the position of the forearm. So you're going to flip palm facing up, find a placement for that ball, and then roll up, think wrist to elbow. Beautiful. One more roll up and down, and then we're going to switch over to the other side. So move that ball over, palm facing down, left forearm on, and then we're just rolling up from the wrist to the elbow. Nice. One more roll up and down, and then we're flipping. So find the palm facing up, and then away we go, rolling from the elbow to the wrist. Nice. One more roll up and down. And then we're going to move on down, right down to the psoas. So when I say psoas, we're going to find those bony hip points. We're going to walk our hands in about 2 inches and find that nice indenture where we can place that ball and find that soft tissue. So we're off the bony structure and we're going to find that soft tissue. And then once you kind of know where you're going, you're going to lay down onto your belly, place that ball right into that soft space. Give a second to just kind of snuggle onto the ball. Let your abdominal muscles soften a little bit. Let your head rest on your backs of your hands. And then here we want to just let our breath do a little work for us. So take 3 nice deep breaths. Nice. And then we're going to bend the right knee. So the side that you've got your ball on, that's the knee you're going to bend. And then you're just going to swish your heel a little side to side. Beautiful. One more little swish of the heel side to side. And then you're going to gently lower your toes down. Lift your hip up just a little bit so that you can reach under, grab that ball, and we're going to place it over to the other side. So we're going to tuck it underneath that left side, finding that soft tissue in that low part of the abdomen, about 2 inches in from those hip points. And then once you found it, give a second, let everything snuggle in, wiggle out your tush, and let your forehead rest again, and then come back to your breath. 3 nice deep breaths here. When you're ready, you're going to bend your left knee or whatever leg you've got the ball underneath. And then we're just going to swish that heel side to side. Awesome. One more little swish of that heel side to side, and then float your toes down, lean over just a little bit so you can pick that ball up. And now we're just going to take that ball and place it right underneath the right thigh. So we're going to find that nice middle part of the thigh, that nice little groove there. And then you might choose here to just prop yourself up a little bit on your elbows and forearms. But if it feels more comfortable to lay down, you do whatever feels right for the upper part of your body. But while I was talking there, that ball was starting to sort of settle in and sink in underneath that thigh. So once you found that little bit of softness, now we're going to just take a few bends and straightens of that right leg. Nice. One more bend and straighten. And then bend the knee, keep it bent, and then just twirl your foot in one direction. And then twirl your foot the other way. Awesome. And then if you can, keep that knee a little bent, and we're just going to do that little drag. So drag the ball gently from side to side. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, float that foot down. We're going to lift off, pick that ball up, and take it over to the other side. So you're going to find that nice center groove of that thigh muscle. Find that nice little groove that it can sink into. Give yourself a second, wiggle around your tush, make sure everything feels like it's in a pretty good position. Once you've kind of found that groove, let the muscles soften for a second. Just take a nice big breath. Cool. And then start to bend and straighten that leg. Awesome. And then the next time you bend that leg, keep it there and twirl your foot in one direction. Nice. And then twirl your foot the other way. Give Liz one last second to just catch up because her phone was gonna die, so she had to break for a charger. Nice. Okay, and then when you're ready, release that foot down, roll on off, and now we're gonna spin around to sit on our back side. Take your ball with you, and we're gonna start to find our way to work into the glutes. So we're just gonna lift off, place that ball right underneath that right glute, and then lean back in and use your hands to support. And we're just gonna draw some circles around, go in one direction. Beautiful. And then draw some circles around, go the other way. Cool. And then find a place where you can kind of settle in. So find a place where you can let the ball kind of be under that thick part of your butt muscle, and then give a second to just kind of let the muscles soften a little bit. And then we're going to take the knee in an external rotation. So you might choose to walk the foot in a little bit. Think kind of a tree pose there, but with your foot maybe about at the knee. And then we're just going to lift and lower that knee. So you're going to let it open and close to a depth that feels good to you. Because for some of us, if we've got anything going on, piriformis, glutes, sciatic, any of that kind of stuff, if you're feeling like it's really zinging you, you might need to readjust your ball. So you just want to make sure it feels like a good, hurts so good sensation, but not hurts so bad. No more tears. All right, one more bend and straight, or one more in and out with that knee, and then pick it up, lean off, take it to the other side. We're going to place it right under that left glute. Hands are going to support, and then we're just going to circle around in one direction. Awesome, and then circle around the other way. Great, and then find that meaty place where you can kind of sink in, sit your butt onto that ball, let the muscle tissue soften, and then once you feel like you've got it in a good spot, bend that left knee, and then we're just opening that, closing that knee out to the side. So you're just going to go to a depth that feels right to you. And then if you feel like you're really zinging yourself in any place, move the ball, reset it, and then come back to it. Awesome. One more in and out. And then lift off, move that ball out from underneath you. Real quick, we're going to get the calves and then we'll move up to the shoulders. So place that ball right under the thickest part of your right calf. And then we're going to do that toe drag, turning the toe in and out and just drag it from side to side. Nice. And then come to the middle part of the calf muscle. Think about how the calf muscle has those two muscles and there's just that little bit of a groove. So see if you can find that groove, let the muscle tissue soften, and then start to twirl your foot in one direction. And then twirl your foot the other way. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, lift off, move that ball over to the other side, finding that thickest part of the calf. And then we do that toe drag, turn the toe in and turn the toe out. Beautiful. And then see if you can find that middle part of the calf muscle, finding that little groove, and then just let it settle in for a second. And then twirl your foot, go in one direction. Awesome. And then twirl your foot the other way. Nice. And then when you're ready, lift off, take that ball with you. And now we're going to place that ball in the shoulder groove. So that groove where that chicken wing is, the muscle that runs along the spine, but right along that shoulder blade. So we're going to find that place, lower yourself down to the ground. Make sure that ball feels like it's in a good, happy position. We want to stay off the bony places and just find the muscle tissue. So once you feel like you've got it in a good position, we're just going to take a few lifts and lowers of the arm. So just think about stretching your arm up alongside your ear and then bringing it down alongside the hip. One more time, up and down. And then we're going to move on up. So we're going to move the ball up the shoulder blades. Now you could choose to just push into your elbows, lift your hips, glide up the ball, which is going to be a deep tissue massage there. But if it doesn't feel good to glide up the ball, just move it up with your hand, come up about 2 inches. Once you found your way there, back to that raise and lower of the arm, reaching it up alongside your ear and bringing it back down side your hip. One more up and down here. And then again, you're going to move up again about 2 inches or so. But if you like, you can push into your feet, lift up, glide up the ball to find that deep tissue massage, or you might just move it manually with your hand, whichever is going to work better for you. But now we're trying to find our way up into that nice, thick top part of that shoulder muscle. And then once you found a nice place for it to be, back to that raise and lower of the arm. And you might notice in certain places with the ball in a certain position, that the raising and lowering the arm becomes a little bit more challenged. So just go as far as feels appropriate for your shoulder. Nice. Now, the next time you raise up your arm on this last one, stay there for a second. So think of it as a little bit of a yawn here. Take a nice big breath and reach through your fingers. Nice slow breath out. Beautiful. And then release that arm. And if you can, just reach up, grab the ball out from underneath your shoulder or wiggle yourself around in any way to find it. And then we're replacing the ball to the other side. So now it's going to come under the left shoulder blade, working in that groove that the shoulder blade and the spine. So we're finding that nice muscle right in between the shoulder blade and the spine. And then once you feel like you found it, raise your arm up alongside your ear and then lower it back down to the hip. Last raise and lower of the arm here. And then either move it up manually with your hand or pick your butt up, glide up that ball, think about 2 inches. So we're moving to that middle part of the shoulder. And then once you feel like you're there, take a second, let your muscles soften, and then moving back into that arm. So we're just going to lift it up and lower it down. And again, we're going to stay in the range of motion that works good for your shoulder. So you might find in certain positions with that compression of the ball in the muscle tissue that it changes or varies your range of motion. So you just stay nice and safe and happy in your shoulder and only move to a point that feels good. Beautiful. One more up and down here. And then one last time, we're going to move on up. So you might choose to move it with your hand, or you might pick your butt up and glide up that ball. So now we want to find that top meaty part of the shoulder. Set your butt down, soften your muscles. And then once you feel like you found it, lift and lower that arm. Nice. Now, the next time that the arm reaches up and overhead, think of it as that good morning stretch. Reach through the fingers, take a nice deep breath in. And then as you exhale, find a little softness in your shoulder. Up, and now we're going to place it right off to the right side of the head. So think where your skull ridge is, the ridge of that skull bone, and then slightly off to the right. Let your head rest on the ball and hold it in place with your hand. Draw little tiny circles in the air with your nose going one direction. And then draw those little tiny circles, go the other way. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, lift up, switch over to the other side. Take that ball over to the left side of the head, hold it in place with your hand, draw little tiny circles in the air with your nose going one direction. And then draw those little tiny circles, go the other way. Nice. And then when you're ready, lift your head up, remove that ball out from underneath your head just for a second. Let your head rest down. Let your arms just rest out at your sides. Take a nice deep breath in. Nice slow breath out. Take a couple gentle turns of your head side to side just to kind of tune in. Notice the muscles in the back of your neck. Notice the muscles in your shoulders. One more little turn side to side, and then head's going to come to neutral, and we're going to grab and hold onto our I Dream of Genie arms and just bring a little fluid back into the shoulder. So we're just going to pull the elbows side to side. Nice. One more little pull the elbows side to side. And then when you're ready, bring it all back to center, pull your knees into your chest. We're going to rock and roll our way up to a seated position, and then sending the legs out in front of you nice and long with a little bit of a micro bend in the knees. So take a nice big breath, reach up and overhead, pull the belly up and over. And then as you exhale, reach towards your feet. Does not matter if you can touch your feet. And then see if you can just take another big breath and find a little bit of length through the front of the body. So think about pulling up through your chest, and then as you exhale, soften just a little bit more. Beautiful. When you're ready, slowly walk yourself up. And then find your way up into an upright position, whatever works for you. Give everything a little wiggle and a little shake. Don't forget to drink plenty of water today. I forgot to say that on Friday. Can you believe?